We are live. We're live. This live stream is actually going to sound like an ASMR video because there's an echo in the place where I'm at and I don't want to wake anybody up. So I'm going to talk a little bit lower tonight. And I'm so glad I have my phone that I use for Anchor. Where is it? Where's Anchor? I can't find it. All right, here it is. So we're recording on Anchor. We've got our podcast on this CNBC article that's being shared around that says, which to me sounds ridiculous. I don't believe it, frankly. And I'm not just saying this because I'm just this lazy millennial who is not up to par with a sixth of millennials. I'm saying this because I literally don't know anybody my age who has racked up $100,000 at this point in their life unless they got, and I have friends who, you know, their family member passed away, they got some sort of inheritance, something like that. I don't have a lot of friends who are making enough that they just have $100,000 in their savings account that don't have debt. Like, you know, it's insane. It's insane. Hello, everybody. Hello, Jorge. Hello, Dan, Diacritical. And it's just crazy to me that they would put something out like that. Kevin says, my nephew can barely tie his shoelaces. No way. Yeah, I mean, we're a lot more behind than previous generations used to be, I think. Just talking to all my friends, just speaking to people, and I have a lot of friends who are around my age, who are in DC, of all different professions. We're live on YouTube. Let's rip that. CN. Okay. Okay. So, Alex says Pardes trying to figure out how rich I am. I don't know, guys. I don't know. That's what I think about most of the time. I think about how rich you guys are, how much money my followers make, how much money I can scam out of you. That's why I do all these polls. What do you think? Why else do you think I do all these polls? Do you think I'm genuinely interested? No. I want to know how much everybody has. Kidding. So I honestly, you know, people are always like, yeah, when I was your age, I had X amount saved, I had this and that, you know, it was so easy for me, you know, I had the same job for the past 20 years or 30 or 50 years, and people don't realize that it's so different now, and it's not because millennials are lazy. It's really hard. It's a really different generation. Things are, the cost of living is obviously higher. Things are much more complicated. Jobs are not as stable as they used to be. We're not, you know, we're living in an era with a lot more regulations. It's a lot harder to start your own business and do your own thing than it was in the past. And I know this because I have a lot of family members who are business owners. They were business owners in the past and they're still business owners now. And yes, they say it's a lot harder now. It's a lot harder now to do what they were doing in the past because of all, and I'm saying this as someone who grew up in California, who grew up in LA, and grew up in the era of regulations. It's a lot harder. And right now, California, Gavin Newsom, Kimberly Guilfoyle's ex-husband, who's the governor of California, he just passed another law banning freelance writing. You can't write more than 35 articles a year. Like, what's that? Because they want to promote salaried work. They don't want people to work hard. They just want people to have a regular salary and just get paid no matter what. It's insane. It's really crazy. Kevin says Mill saw the magic money coming out of the ATMs. Oh, millennials. Millennials saw the magic money coming out of the ATMs. Yeah. And then on top of that, we're also just a lot more, we have short attention spans. So we have short attention spans. So that's on top of that, and I'm not blaming anybody for that. That's just another characteristic of millennials. So he banned, what are the things that Gavin Newsom banned? Gavin Newsom banned a lot of things. Gavin Newsom bans, let's see the list of, he bans the sale of fur products, he bans circus animal performances, he bans some sort of cannabis, he bans, this is just constant bans on everything. It's crazy. Bans pay for delay to fight runaway prescription drugs. What's pay for delay? Three bills to lower the cost of prescription drugs, increase access to care for California families. Okay. I don't know. I'd have to read a little bit more about this one. So, Street Guru says, I don't know a single person who voted for him unless they only check Dem boxes, but that's 65% of California. So, Diacritical says they probably banned sativa to prop the indica industry. So yeah, there's like so many bans, and honestly, I don't think millennials are a lazy generation. I don't think millennials are a lazy generation at all. I think millennials do tend to try to be responsible. I think millennials have a lot of pressure on us, to be like the previous generations, like Gen Xers. And honestly, I think that I'm very hardworking. I think that my friends are very hardworking, and I think that we're smart. I don't think that I am disadvantaged. I don't see myself as disadvantaged. I don't see my friends, most of my friends, I don't see them as disadvantaged. I see people, they're like normal, they come from like, they we're not like homeless. But somehow we don't have $100,000 saved up in our banks. You know what I mean? And real hustlers, I'm 24/7, all I think about is money. 24/7. I'm reading this book, it's not with me right now, but like, all I read about, all I think about, everything is money. And it's like, with the amount that I've studied, that I read, I'm constantly trying new things. I'm constantly trying this business thing, that business thing. I'm constantly emailing different people and trying different ideas. And the people I talk to are like that too. No one's sitting around on their butts. People work hard. I mean, maybe it's because I live in Washington, D.C. and I'm in New York now. And so, people aren't just sitting on their butts. Millennials aren't, for the most part, that I know of, are not just sitting on their butts. But somehow, even perfectly well-educated millennials are not making the kind of money that you would expect from people who have all the resources there for them. So there's a CNBC article that says, don't believe the stereotypes. Millennials are so great at saving. Millennials have $100,000 saved up in their bank accounts. I don't believe that. I don't think millennials have $100,000 saved up in their bank accounts. Most millennials don't. Actually, the thing that they were getting this from, they were basing it, CNBC was basing it, 1 in 6 millennials have $100,000 in their savings account. And they're basing it off of a Bank of America report for people who have a long-term savings account. So out of the 1,500 people in that Bank of America report who have long-term savings account between the ages of 23 and 37, 1 in 6 of them have $100,000 saved in their bank account, in their savings account, in their long-term savings account. That's like such a small sample, and that's so misleading. Kevin says Gen Xers had to figure it out on our own. Tough lessons. We're kind of the forgotten generation, but we lay in wait. Our grandparents were World War II vets. Gen Xers are resilient. I mean, I agree. Honestly, I think Gen Xers are the people who have, they have set the standards really high. So millennials are trying to keep up with those standards. Bart says Kevin just gave you $10 and now you can retire. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool, Kevin. I'm rich. A second. Felix says millennials don't save because they have seen their parents' marriage fail and don't think about their future family. Avocado toast is more important than wife and kids. The thing is, if you don't have enough saved, you don't have a foundation, how could you think about your wife and kids? People are like, oh, millennials don't care about their wife and kids. I don't see it responsible to have a wife and kids if you don't even know how to support yourself. You can't support yourself. How are you going to support wife and kids? If you're up to infinity in student debt, how could you? I don't know. And maybe you can, and a lot of people do actually. I know a lot of people who have student debt and they have kids, but it's scary. And I don't think millennials just don't want to get married and have kids. I think it's just scary for a lot of people. Sally Toys says you can retire if you live in the Philippines. Maybe we should move there. I have another friend who actually moved to Thailand. He moved to Phuket in Thailand, and he said he lives a luxury lifestyle on $1,100 a month. Luxury lifestyle. He has 2-story place. $1,100 a month. And apparently there are a lot of American expats there too. So interesting. Okay. So this is not going to be a very long live stream, but I just wanted to take a reality check. How much do millennials really have saved up? How much do most millennials really have saved up? And how much are most millennials making? And how much is the net worth of most millennials, of the average millennial? Okay. How many millennials have savings? Okay. All right. 70% of millennials have a savings account. Okay. 70% of us have a savings account. 58% have a balance under $5,000. So that's already crazy. The 1 in 6 people that CNBC is talking about has to be very, very, very large. They have to have a lot of money in order to balance this out. 58% apparently have a balance under $5,000 in their savings accounts. Student debt is a big reason why people don't have savings account, why people don't have savings. Colleges are getting more and more and more expensive. They're getting more and more grants from the government. They're getting more federal grants. They're getting more expensive. It's kind of like this inflation thing that's building up. And, we were talking about it with some of my family members. one of my uncle's friends is talking about he's in dental school, and he's paying at NYU. I believe his costs per year of going to dental school is $110,000 per year, $110,000. And then they added up like all his costs, living there, going to school, his, over the span of like, over the course of his dental school, his education, becoming a dentist. They racked it up, and it came up to around $1 million. $1 million for just to become a dentist. And it's like, if you're spending $1 million to become a dentist, why don't you just take that, if you have $1 million to spend to become a dentist, why don't you take that $1 million and buy yourself a house, right? Like, the whole point of becoming a dentist is that you can make money. Why don't you just keep that money that you're spending, buy a house, don't do the hard work. And if you do go to school, dental school's hard. Dental school's really hard. And, I'm saying this like, I studied biology in undergrad. I'm very thankful I didn't pay anything in undergrad. California gives amazing scholarships to California residents. The UC schools give great scholarships if you're a California resident. But biology is hard. I'm not studying nearly as hard as I did in undergrad right now. I'm in business school. Kevin says, take 10% off the top of every check for savings. Think of it like a bill. Yeah, that's a good idea. I have basically, in my bank account, I have this automatic transfer every month. Like, a certain amount is automatically transferred from my checking account to my savings account. And I also have an automatic for student loans. So, yeah. A lot of people with worthless degrees. Bart says, I can see you being an underwater welder. Thank you, Bart. I think I would actually look great in a welding suit. Life of Crawford says, buy Bitcoin. So I bought Bitcoin just because I felt like I should have some money in Bitcoin, but everyone's giving me conflicted opinions about it. Either oh, you just wasted all your money, or oh, great, you should have Bitcoin, you should have even more. So I don't even know. I don't know. Oliver says that he has been banned from a chat, from one of the streamers' chat. I'm probably not going to ban you from these chats, unless you're really distracting, actually. But no, I don't know. I haven't really had that. Gideon says, start a fake GoFundMe. That's an idea. So that actually happened. I'll tell you guys in another live stream. Okay, so average millennial has an $8,000 net worth. Okay, delaying life milestones because of student loan debt, and still relies on their parents for money. The average millennial, that's people between the ages of 20, what is it? What are millennials considered? Basically, people between 21 through 28? No, I don't think it's 21 through 28. Really? 21 through 38. 23 through 38. Okay, 23 through 38 sounds about right. So the average millennial is pushing off life choices because they have student debt, because they don't have enough in savings. I don't think that means that they're irresponsible. In fact, I think that's a sign of being responsible. Pushing off having kids because you want to be financially stable first. I don't know. I don't think that raising kids in a financially unstable home necessarily means that you're more. It's fine. Like, it is responsible in the sense that you want to have your kids early and not wait until you're too frail to be able to handle your kids. But at the same time, like, it doesn't mean that you're irresponsible because you're not having kids right away. I think that's a misconception that people have, is like, oh, millennials, they just don't care, they just want to party. I'm like, I don't think millennials just want to party. I think it really is that. And don't look at me like I'm not a good representative, because I actually do like to party and I'm actually crazy, but I'm not a representative of most millennials. Most millennials are not like that. I mean, people are pushing off marriage and kids really just because they can't, because they're being responsible. Yeah. Okay. So, let's see. Typical millennial has less than $5,000 in their savings account. Despite being financially behind, typical millennial has a practical approach to money, saving for emergencies and contributing to a retirement account. That makes sense. The typical American millennial is carrying a crippling amount of student loan debt. What's the average? The average is about $30,000. Average about $30,000. Average student loan debt, which actually doesn't even sound like a lot. It's like a lot less than I expected. $30,000. Also affect, being able to do a lot of other things. Let's see. Typical millennial defines financial success as being debt-free. The typical millennial still receives financial assistance from their parents. Wow, let's see what that number is. More than half of Americans between the ages of 21 and 37 have been helped by their parent since turning 21. Okay, well, that doesn't mean that they're still financially dependent on their parents. Oh, but about 37% of millennials receive money on a monthly basis. More than half, about 60% of millennials receive money from their parents several times a year. Many are putting this money towards basic needs, both small and significant, like cell phone bills, groceries and gas, health insurance, and rent. That makes a lot of sense to me. Barry says, what's keeping me from going to college, high school? Do I have a lot of people in high school here? If you're in high school, you got school early in the morning and you're watching, I am honored. Someone is saying they wish I did ASMR. Does this sound like ASMR? Like, should I talk lower? Someone is saying if you really don't need it, don't buy it. Another thing that I think is, just in general, that makes it really hard is that people, like, our schools aren't preparing. The whole idea, like in the olden days, of getting an education is really to prepare people for life and prepare people to make money. That's literally, in religious law, you're supposed, like in Jewish law, it's like you have one of the main duties of a parent is to educate their children to be able to make money. And parents send their kids to school for that to happen. But the thing is that the schools aren't doing those jobs, and so now the kids growing up in homes, a lot of kids grow up in homes where, the parents support everything and they have these really high standards, but they somehow can't seem to meet those standards. They can't seem to meet the standards, their living standards. So they grew up like, with a maid, or they grew up, that's like a high level income, but even like low level. I mean, they grew up with an iPhone. They grew up with health insurance. They grew up with like, I don't know. They grew up with like very comfortable lives. Having an iPhone, it's true that everybody has one, but it's still a luxury. Like they grew up with all these things, and then now they're suddenly having to figure out how to be able to provide all these luxuries for themselves. It's like such a high standard of living, you know what I mean? And they have to figure out how to like support that standard of living for themselves. And it's hard. I mean, people are like, in the olden days, with simpler lives, there is no way to do it other than, and this is like another thing that I would encourage you, if you're still in high school or still in college, that I would encourage you to do before you go out in the workforce. I would encourage you to try as much as possible to start getting yourself used to living a very simple lifestyle, at least in the beginning of your life. And you don't have to make yourself suffer, but like you don't need a lot to be able to survive. You need food, you need basic, you need just like a roof over your head. You don't need your own place. You can get roommates. You don't have to live in the most expensive area. You don't need like the latest fashion. You just need basic clothes, like just the basics. Just stick to the basics and enjoy your life, but just stick to the basics. And I feel like that's really something that we have to teach people, is to try as much as possible in the beginning of your life to learn how to live a much lower standard of life than you were raised with. And that would really help a lot of people. Because like another thing is like I constantly see people trying to support the lifestyle that they grew up with, and then failing, and then thinking of themselves as a failure. And it's like, you don't have to think of yourself as a failure. You don't have to support that. You don't have to sustain such a high standard of living. You could try and lower your standards of living for yourself, and you would feel prouder of yourself too. You'd be like, okay, I'm able to support myself on a much lower standard. Okay, let's see. Kevin says the question is, will millennial parents be able to bail out their kids in an emergency? Probably not. Probably not, exactly. I don't know why my eyes look so red. Oh, I guess. Eating out, buying single serving drinks, coffee, absolutely drain your funds. And there's so many, like, it's just, life is so much more fast paced, and there's just like so many extra costs that we don't think about. And by the way, like, I very recently turned 26, and I just want to say, health insurance, like, it's taking me so much effort to push myself to like pay for health insurance, because it is so freaking expensive. And how does everybody do it? I don't know. Health insurance is expensive. Okay, let's see. What other crazy things are millennials doing? Okay. Millennials are renting longer and buying later, delaying home ownership. Let's see what the average millennial credit score is. Average millennial credit score. Average millennial has a credit score of 668. Scores ranging between 300 and 850. The good scores considered to be any above 670. Gen Zers have an average score of 667, 8. When I was at 668, I actually got a pretty decent credit card with decent limits. So I don't think that's bad. I think that you can 668 is lower than I expected, but it's not bad. Like you could do stuff with 668. I forgot to share the Twitch link to this. I really, really want to encourage people to go on Twitch. So if you haven't been on Twitch yet, go in the link, go in the description if you're on YouTube and you haven't followed me on Twitch yet. Go, because I want to start doing things on Twitch and just on Twitch, because a lot of the things that I want to start streaming, like we did a live stream on Friday. We did one with Jack Knutson, and it was about like the whole Kanye West and Kim Kardashian thing, and we showed like a clip of them, from Keeping Up with the Kardashians. We analyzed that clip of, the whole scene with Kanye talking about his wife's sexy outfits. And so that whole thing caused our video to be demonetized because it was a copyright thing and I didn't take it seriously. And so we can't do that on YouTube. We can't stream and we can't stream things like that. So I feel like we'll be a little safer with a lot of the streaming stuff on Twitch. That's why I want to encourage everybody to go over to Twitch, because I want to start streaming things only on Twitch. Certain things I want to start streaming only on Twitch. Also, Twitch sounds like fun, and I want to learn how to do that, and it's fun. Magic Dude says YouTube is destroying itself. So tragic. Yeah, it's like, people want to see. YouTube is not what it used to be, and the thing that people are going to YouTube for is raw content. That's why I go to YouTube, is because I want to see real people. I want to see real people with their real stories. I don't want to see perfect people. I don't want to see like people pretending to have $100,000 in their savings. People my age, like, it's not that I don't want to see successful people. It's like I don't want to feel like I'm seeing a fake story. And I genuinely don't believe that 1 in 6 people my age has $100,000 in their savings account that they saved up. I genuinely don't believe it. Like, I don't think AOC has $100,000 saved up in her bank account. And she is older than me, and she's making $174,000 a year. And she's a congresswoman, and she gets a lot of donations from different things. I don't know, maybe she does, but like, maybe she does, whatever. She's not a good example. Bart says you're YouTube's favorite best cam girl. You can't leave. Yeah, I'm the best cam girl ever. I don't even have to do anything, and you guys still watch. Lowell says she doesn't have to pay for insurance. AOC bought $750,000 apartment last year. Oh man, that's crazy. That's crazy. Oh man. Yeah, AOC is not a good example. Why is she complaining about how things are so expensive? Why is AOC complaining about how things are expensive? Okay, so average person's credit score, 695. Credit scores, average millennial credit card debt. Let's see how much this is. Average millennial credit card debt is $4,712. National average is $6,000. $4,712 per month. It does kind of feel like a lot, credit card debt. I used to spend a lot more. The funny thing is, like, you would expect that as people get older, they will spend more money because they'll have higher costs of living because they're older or whatever. But for me, it's like the opposite. And I think a lot of people, as they get older, they learn to budget. Like, budgeting is a huge thing. So, like, the older you get, the more you learn how to budget, and the more tricks you learn on, like, how to save money and how to spend less on certain things. So that really helped me. I'm spending a lot less than I used to when I was younger, and not because I was like crazy and irresponsible, just because, like, I just wasn't in the habit of budgeting. Like, you know, I used to live in my parents' house, didn't pay rent. I, like, kind of whatever money I had, I just went and spent it all on different things. Felix says if you save $500 a month, you will retire a millionaire. Jorge says, I have a spreadsheet to track everything. One of my friends showed me a spreadsheet that he has, and it's like so detailed, and I was so jealous. I was like, how are you so organized? Let's see, what else? Average millennial makes $35,592 a year. Average millennial makes $35,592 a year. That's average. That means that, like, the lowest, that means that, like, that's, like, really low. $35,592 a year is really low for an average. I mean, and I'm not saying it based on how much I make. I'm saying it based on, because I really don't make, yeah, I'm not even going to comment on how much I make, but, like, because I personally don't think that I'm such a successful example of, like, whatever. I shouldn't talk about myself. Like, I think I'm successful in different ways, but I'm not working like a 9-to-5 job. And so working a 9-to-5 job, the average being $35,592 a year really does not, it's not a lot at all. Like, when I had a 9-to-5 jobs, even entry level, I was making a lot more than that. So yeah, that's all right. How much does the average 25-year-old make per year? Average 25-year-old is making $41,951 per year. Oh, no. That's not average 25-year-old. That's average between 25 and 34. The ones bringing the average higher. So if you're in your mid-20s and you still suck, it's fine. That's normal. I was actually mid to late 30s, and they still don't have it figured out. And it's fine. It's, like, so normal. I mean, I keep talking to people. Another thing is, like, millennials, more than the previous generations, and Gen Zers even worse, are constantly changing career paths. People are less and less grounded in what their jobs are, what their career paths are. So they'll, like, leave jobs, join another job, get another job, leave that one, get another job. And so people are, like, a little more confused, and so they're not really committed as much to a single, just because, like, there's so much out there, and with the internet it just becomes more complicated because you just got so many opportunities in front of you. It's really hard to, like, be committed to one of them. So it's, like, kind of like the idea of like, oh, why aren't you married? And the reason being that there are just so many marriage prospects. Like, there's so many people out there, and you've got the internet, so you've got, like, all these dating apps, so you're just, like, swipe, and it's like there's so many people that you just don't have the patience to, like, go through every single person, the patience or the interest. and it's just exhausting, and you're confused, and you don't want to go through every single person, and like you can't and form like a real relationship with them. Like the second anything goes wrong, you can just drop that person and go on to the next person. And so there isn't as much of like a commitment. So that's another thing, it's just so many opportunities that you're just less committed to each one. And you just end up not moving forward because you're just so not committed to each thing. Right. I'm reading your comments. Dr. Knows Best says that if I meet you at a bar and you make less than 100K a year, that I won't talk to you. Honestly, none of my friends that I'm close with are making that. I don't know, I'm close with a lot of people. Never mind, just ignore that, scratch that. I'm close to a lot of different people. I can't think of people my age that are making 100K a year. Even my friend who makes a lot, she makes like in the 90s. Like that she's like really happy. I don't know. People are asking me about my close friends, about Ford and Steph. Ask them, ask Ford how much he makes. Ford has his own business. So Ford started off like making very little, because all people who have their own businesses start off making very little, and he built up from there. So I don't know how much he's making now. Someone was asking about Steph. Steph is a college student. And she works different jobs to support her college student lifestyle. So ask them. I actually don't know how much they make. So another thing about people who have their own businesses, another thing about millennials is that millennials are a very entrepreneurial generation. And so millennials, more so than the previous generations, Gen Zers more so than millennials. And people who start their own businesses tend to not make a lot of money. And it's just a fact. If you're working for somebody, you start off with the set salary. When you have your own business, you might not be making anything for a while. And I know this because I have a lot of business people in my family. I was talking to my dad. Nate says, buy gold and convert to Judaism. Put on a yarmulke and you'll be rich. You'll become a rich Jew. Yeah. So, and I don't think that it's like that there aren't opportunities. There's so many opportunities. There's so many opportunities for me. There's so many opportunities for everyone that I know. It's just that we just don't, it just takes longer for us to figure it out. And I think it's because there's just so many opportunities. It might be because there's so many opportunities. People who start their own businesses, I was talking to my dad. My dad started off like not making a penny for the first 2 years of his business. He and my mom, like we were all living in my grandparents' house. A lot of people are like that. They start off not making any money. And that's becoming normal, not because people are lazier. Maybe it's just because a lot of millennials are just more entrepreneurial. They're more focused on long-term business instead of just a corporate job. People are suggesting brothels, porn. Makes good money. Porn and prostitution. Porn and prostitution make good money. So you can become a prostitute or a pimp or a porn star. You make good money. The average millennial's net worth is shockingly low, according to USA Today. How much is it? Less than $8,000 between ages 18 through 35. Less than $8,000 net worth. I was having these conversations with my friend today, who's like late 30s. How is it that so many very smart people in this age group are just not making it, or at least feel like they're not making it? How is it like that? Like, what's going on? Yeah, so this CNBC article, it says 1 in 6 millennials have $100,000 saved, and it's just such garbage, and it's setting such ridiculous standards for people. Although I would recommend, and I know a lot of people say you shouldn't, but I would definitely recommend, if you are working for somebody, getting a 401k. Like a retirement plan. If you are not working for someone, if you're working for yourself, or actually if you're working for someone to try to get like a Roth IRA, something that will, like, you're basically like saving and investing at the same time for your retirement, just because it's available, and I think it's worth it. A lot of people don't think it's a good idea. A lot of my friends think it's not worth it. In fact, a lot of people who are in my age group, and I agree with them on some level, are saying that you just shouldn't, don't rely on retirement funds, don't rely on Social Security, don't rely on any of that, because by the time we get to that age, it won't be available for us. And so a lot of people are saying that the boomers are going to eat it all up or whatever. So I don't know. A lot of people are talking about investing in Bitcoin. So personally, I would just do both. That's what I do. I just do everything. And one of them is bound to work, right? But, yeah. Once you get in the mindset of saving, it's called paying yourself. That's what people describe it as, like paying yourself. Once you get in the habit of paying yourself, when you get your paycheck, when you make any sort of money, first put it in some sort of saving or investing. I don't know. Having savings is kind of dumb. It's like, why would you leave money to rot in a bank account and just shrink with inflation? Why wouldn't you just put it in an account that's growing every year? Oops, boops, boops. Adam says, spend all your money. Don't worry about tomorrow because I make money off of that. Exactly. Spend all your money on this live stream. Because you can. Actually, I really would say, like, if you yeah, I'm gonna do this in a different live stream, but yeah, like, there's so much. If you like just sit down and budget everything, there's so much you can cut out. I sat down and budgeted everything. I looked at all my expenses, between like calling the bank and telling them to waive fees, or like little things that I don't need. I don't need cable television. I do need good internet, so I spent on that. I actually got my internet company. I got like a free router from them. Alex says makes it rain. 5 $1 bills. Go Alex. Yeah. If you're on Periscope, then you're not seeing the super chats here. You're not seeing that Alex just sent me a super chat. If you're on Periscope, you're not seeing all that. You're just in the lame corner. And also, if you're on Periscope and you're wondering why I'm not reading your comment, it's because most of the people commenting are on YouTube, so you're not seeing that. So head over to YouTube. It's easier for me. Hey Adam. I was planning on going to Nashville soon. But I still haven't gone. And there's so much that I'm going to London in 2 months. And by the way, guess how I paid for my ticket to London? I paid with a Capital One Venture card. You have to spend a certain amount you have to spend, how much? $3,000? You have to spend $3,000 in the first 3 months. And then you get, they give you a certain amount of points. And so I just use it to buy a ticket to London, which is pretty awesome. And you also, for me, instead of getting instead of having my student loans pay directly for my tuition, I had them send it to my bank account, and then I paid it just so that I paid it with my credit card. I paid for my tuition on my credit card just because I wanted to get the points. And it really, people are like, oh, why do you waste time with the points? And you're really not wasting time. Definitely, if you're going to get a credit card, you're going to spend anyway. You might as well be making money off of it, your credit card. And it really works. I literally just bought an entire plane ticket to London, and I still have more left even with the money that I made from my credit card, which is awesome. Someone is complaining about taxes. Taxes are very crazy. Taxes are really crazy. There's also another thing that people don't realize, there's so many ways to avoid paying taxes, and the richer you are, the more people you have helping you to tell you, how you can save on taxes, and obviously the people who are being hurt the most are going to be the people who are less equipped with that knowledge, and people who are the most vulnerable. Definitely don't go to a tax preparer. Such a garbage waste of money. Don't go to tax preparer. Prepare your tax by yourself on TurboTax or whatever. Even TurboTax, they have all these extra fees, and I ended up preparing part of my taxes by myself, and I was like, this is so easy. You could prepare your taxes by yourself. You can, if you set up a business, you can do it by yourself. I did that by myself after this whole experience with this legal Zoom. Don't be afraid. Don't be scared off by these things that involve government stuff. Don't pay for third parties to do things for you. You don't need a third party to help you pay your taxes, to set your taxes. You don't need a third party to help you set up a business. You don't need a third party for a lot of things, and you could do it by yourself, and it's really easy, a lot of it. So okay, wow, so many Nats fans in here. Oh wow. Oh, the Nationals won. Oh my gosh, the Nationals won. That's amazing. Oh my gosh. Yay! Guys. Oh my gosh. So people are saying that if I'm from LA, then I should be a Dodgers fan, right? But I was never into sports in LA. I never went to a single baseball game. The only times I went to baseball games are in DC, and in DC I go to a lot of baseball games. I go to a lot of Nats games because I have a lot of friends who are really into baseball, and I go with them. And so that's why I'm not a Dodgers fan. I'm a Nats fan because I'm just more invested in DC baseball. I was never invested in LA baseball. I was never invested in the Dodgers. Even though like I should be, and sometimes I'll be like, oh, go Dodgers, but not really. I just do that because I'm from LA. Someone is asking if I'm broke. Nope, I'm not broke. I'm proud to say that I am in a very, very much more secure, happy place than I was a couple years ago. Actually, like I talk about whatever. Obviously, like we all have high standards for ourselves and we always want to be in a better place. But like I'm very, very blessed. I think that I'm in such a different place where I was like 2 years ago. Things have changed a lot, even over the past year. Yeah, over the past year, I've saved up I've saved up a crazy amount of how much I made, which feels amazing. Just because I was so focused on saving and I was so focused on spending less. And it's not that I always plan on spending little. It's not that I always plan on having these live streams from my phone. Like I do plan on setting up more nicer stuff and whatever, and I keep trying to make them better each time. But yeah. Someone is asking if I still hate the Jews. Is that a joke? Are you joking? Are you? Nate says, I don't know why I love all the false Pardes info on her life. I try to not give too much information, but I try to also give enough that helps you understand where I am. But nothing is false. I'm not giving you false information. Just trying to give you like diplomatic information. That's not too much, too little. Joe Bell says just the brown skin ones. I'm brown skin. Okay. Okay, any questions before we leave? There's something that I'm so excited about, and that's that I'm going to Hell, Michigan in a week. Next week, I'm going to be in this city in Michigan called Hell. It's about an hour away from Detroit. I'm really excited. I'm going to make the Halloween vlog from Hell, and I'm going to keep doing these vlogs because I like it. Not because it's my career, not because it's like something that's gonna make me money, not because, not because YouTube monetized my videos, even though like that's pretty cool, but not because of that. Not because I'm trying to be famous, literally just because I love doing it. I love you guys so much. I love the people who watch this stuff. It makes me feel happy and fulfilled in life, and it makes me happy and fulfilled to hear that it's making other people happy and fulfilled too, even if it's just a few people. And I really, really like it, and I just plan on keeping on doing it. And I see YouTubers. I watch so many YouTube videos lately, and I see YouTubers being like stressed out. They're working so hard. They're really, really stressed out from this because their whole financial, thing is from YouTube, and it's so unstable. Making money from YouTube is so unstable. If you're not like working at, a restaurant job or whatever, and you're just totally dependent on YouTube, it's so unstable. And so, yeah. So a lot of people don't have the chance to enjoy what they're doing on here. And I think that's a real shame, because there's so much to enjoy, and it's really an enjoyable thing. And I also would encourage you, if you have a YouTube channel, I encourage all of my friends, and I want, like, and I help them too. You know, I want to, I really, and so many of my friends actually started YouTubing because of me. I'm not bragging. I'm just saying the truth. So many of my friends actually started YouTubing. So many of my friends started YouTubing because I tried to get them to, because I want people to start YouTubing, not just because of them, because I care about them, but because, first of all, it does make for a more comfortable, relaxed environment and society of people who are just more comfortable, relaxed, connecting with each other, but also because, like, because I want to be surrounded with a network of people who are doing well on YouTube, because that helps me too. Someone is asking, would you say that publishing YouTube videos or doing live streams can be therapeutic, kind of like how the blogs were considered therapeutic back in the day? Oh yeah, for sure. This is literally like, this is like where, this is very therapeutic. I love it. This is, it's like going to therapy every single night. I don't need other therapy when I come here. It really is therapeutic. Yeah, I was watching this girl, her name is Sorella Moore, and I actually shared her YouTube channel on my Twitter account today. So this girl, her name is Sorella Moore, and like her thing is that she's really good at photography, and she makes YouTube videos, and she travels the world, and she also trains like pole dancing. And when I say pole dancing, I mean like it's like gymnastics, not like to be a stripper, like doing tricks and whatever. And sorry, I hope you didn't hear that. That was like a weird. But anyway, so she made a video. Her most recent video was about, she felt like burnt out, and she felt like she couldn't handle the comments, the negative comments that she gets, because she gets like really, it just like affects her. She's very sensitive, and it's like, it's a shame, because she does like put her heart out there, and it if that's not what you're getting, then it's not worth it. But Oliver says pole dancing is lame. Get a husband already. You're embarrassing yourself. Actually, the truth is, my pole dancing class, I still haven't danced on an actual pole. I haven't actually done any pole dancing. That's the truth. My pole dancing class is like, it's mostly like gymnastics. So far, I've only done hoops. Like I've only done tricks on a hoop, and with the aerial silk. So the aerial hoops and the aerial silk, I actually have not actually done anything on a pole. So I do brag a lot about it, but I have not actually, because the poles are actually also very, very tough. Like I tried, but all right. Okay. Any other questions? All right, we've got Anchor is done. Any questions? See you all tomorrow night. Watch out for my video, for my vlog that comes out tomorrow. We've got a vlog every Sunday and every Wednesday, and Alex wants me to stay, but Alex, I have to go to sleep and shower because I feel gross. And we have a video coming out tomorrow, and we also have a video coming out. We have a video coming out tomorrow. We got our live stream tomorrow night, and we're gonna have a video on Sunday, I guess. Yeah. Okay. Bye peeps. Someone is asking how to save money. Okay, I'll do a live stream tomorrow night on how to save money if you want. I'll make a live stream tomorrow night about how to save money. Gideon says, when are we getting an Alex Says Stay merch shirt? It's actually a great idea. We'll make an Alex Says Stay. We'll make a merch shirt just for Alex. Okay, Barry is asking what time. So Barry, I'm gonna try and do these on time, even though I'm actually right now in New York, so things are gonna be a little unstable because I'm staying with people, and it's much harder to do things when you're staying with people because you're also on their schedule. So I'm gonna try as much as possible to make these at 10 p.m., even though this one started at midnight. And I really want to try and be on time with these. You can bet that it won't start before 10 p.m. It won't be before 10 p.m. Highly unlikely. And if it is, then you'll see me tweeting about it beforehand. So I'm going to try and do them around 10 p.m. every night. And I also watch out on Twitter, watch out on my tweets. Someone is asking what time the upload is going to be on. I normally do the uploads around 3 p.m. Like 3 something, like 3:15 or something. Usually they come out. So the uploads are normally around 3 p.m. Those are like my personal life, and the live streams are more just like random topics. Someone is saying the reason girls get tongue piercings. Someone is asking what an etrog tastes like. An etrog is a fruit. It's like the fruit that we use on Sukkot. Oliver says rabbis who say piercing is okay don't follow the religion. In fairness, we can do a live stream on Judaism if you want. People think that I don't know about Judaism because I'm not religious, but it's like, dude, I grew up living and breathing Judaism. And actually, I spent the whole past few days celebrating Sukkot, so I can tell you a lot about Judaism. All right. Barry says YouTube didn't notify me about this until it was almost over. Aw, that makes me sad. These are definitely more fun when they're live because I get to interact with you guys and I answer, I talk to you guys. But the videos, and can you watch the live streams, but the videos, you will feel a little less FOMO. Okay. All right. Feel free to send me more. Feel free to DM me on Twitter, or even I'll make a post on YouTube, or even in the comments of this, not in the live comments, but in the comments. Tell me what you want me to talk about tomorrow night or later this week. And actually, you might be seeing Daniel Bostic later this week, which is really exciting because I will see him, and you might even see my friend Lila, and you might even see some other cool people. So watch out for that. All right, see you. Have a good night. Thanks so much, everybody.